IOO. It's not IOO that I see there.
Yes, yes,
Okay, you have the software installed, right?
yes, I have it installed.
Okay, great. What about Salisu Shegun?
He has it installed.
Okay,
He
good.
sent a message in the chat.
Installed.
All right, all right. Um, this name is a bit confusing. Double O Olaniyo, right? Did I get that correctly? Hello.
I've not been. Yeah,
You've not been
I've
able to
been.
install.
Hello, hello.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I've not been able to install the software. As I don't know, maybe it's my system. They have been giving me sort of challenges. But let's don't let.
Like, do
I
you
won't
get
want to you
error
guys
message?
to draw us back. I can always let me just listen to the class. I can only catch up with the recorded. Maybe tomorrow I will try and sort that one with one of my colleagues.
Okay. Please,
I'm in the class.
okay, whatever challenge you have with installation, kindly refer back to Tayo. He will be able to help us with that one way or the other. If it's a system issue, like maybe the requirements for the laptop you use or the desktop you use, if the requirements, if your system is not meeting up with the requirement, then it's a different issue, right? So maybe in that case, you would have to, catch up with the recorded videos and then get, a different system, something like that, or upgrade your laptop. Yes. So, what about the Greek man here? I don't know how to pronounce this name. Hello, are you there? Our engineer from Greece. Are you from Greece? Are you a Greek man?
He's actually, that's engineer Diane.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think that we can carry on. So just so that we don't lose so much
Yeah,
time,
it's fine.
because
It's
I know
fine.
that
It's fine.
we have a lot to
Yeah.
dig into. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry,
So for me,
excuse
I'm
me, I
just
was raising up my hand. I've installed the software yesterday, but
Great.
now that I'm trying to launch it, it's telling me, it's giving me some kind of errors for both of them.
Oh,
So
okay.
what error message do you get, please?
For Adobe Illustrator, it said unsupported video driver, system compatibility reports.
Okay.
And then for, it's still the same thing, system compatibility for the After Effects too.
Okay. So I mean, I thought this would have been sorted out by yesterday, but I just wanted to confirm how many people can follow along with this class, right? So please, if you have challenge with installation after this class, we have, you know, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, uh, Tayo would
Yeah.
follow up on you guys to check whatever issues, get it sorted
Mhm.
before next week.
So please reach out. Because what I see here is that you might need to revert to an older version of the software. So we'll look into that on our side in order to make that available to you. That's for those who, but please reach out and let's discuss that. I wish I had gotten that information earlier on. We would have been able to look into it ahead of this class, but it's okay. Just do your best to follow along with what is being taught today, and we'll ensure that it's all sorted out before the next class. I hope that's That work for everyone? Does that work for us?
Yes, it's fine. So,
Okay, fantastic. All right, thank you so much.
All right, so let's kick off with this class. I hope you can all see my screen. Hello. I hope
Yes,
you
we
guys
can.
can see my screen. Okay.
Yes, we can.
All right, sorry, I just need to get this isolation controls, yeah. Okay, so when you first launch the After Effects, it brings you to this window, for example, then you could just start with new project, right? Just click on new project. But if you're already in this kind of interface for After Effects, all you just do is click on File, all right? Go to New, and then you see New Project here. So this is how you start a new project, right? You could create a new folder. Most of all these options, you might not really be making use of them. So I will be showing you, throughout this training, we'll be looking at, what you'll be making use of at least 80% to 90% of the time, right? So I just want to introduce you to this interface. The After Effects interface is very dynamic. You could customize this interface whichever way you choose. So just like every other software, like your Microsoft Word, for example, every software always have the menu bar. So the menu bar is just this tab above where you have your file, edit, composition, layer, effects, animation, view, Windows, help. For, let's say, your Microsoft Word, for example, would have file and edit, right? Then it will have, any other, options available for that particular software. So this is like the menu bar, file, edit, composition, and all that. What you have here is your projects panel. On this projects panel, the one on the left, right? So when you click on it, it highlights with a blue, highlights like that. So whatever panel you click, it highlights itself with a blue, right? So there's so many panels here. You could see all your panels. Every panel, in After Effects, you could find them under Window, the window menu bar or menu tab. So you could see this check mark beside audio, for example. That's to show you that the audio panel is visible, which is this one on the right here. You can see audio. So this is where you control the volume of your audio. If you import any video or MP3 or any audio carrying file, you could always drop the volume here or raise the volume. You have the character panel. Character panel is basically where you do your typing. So that's it right here. You see there are other two panels attached to this particular panel group. So we always have panels in groups. Like here, we have the info panel and the audio panel together as a group. I could drag my character panel out like that and drop wherever I want. You could see. So I actually just clicked this character. I could drag it to the first, on the list. I could drag it to the last. So it's very dynamic. I could drag it above here and drop it together with these guys here. So you could see that audio, info, and character. So it's very customizable however you want, right? So this whole interface is called your window, containing different panels. I'll just take my character panel back. All right, so you have your paragraph panel. So everything you see here is visible to the eye. Paragraph panel, your preview panel. Now, I can decide to turn off any panel I want. Let's look for the project panel, for example. So this is the project panel at the bottom here, which is actually this project panel. All right, so I could turn it off. If I click on this, you can see the project panel disappears, leaving me with only the effects controls here. I could click on this project panel again, comes back on. Right, so there you have it. Now, however you want to customize this in the future, maybe to suit your working style, you can always come to Windows, go to your workspace, and you can save changes to this workspace. You could save it as a new workspace. So if you see, for example, I have personal and I have personal too. So these are my own personal edits. I put them in capital letters, so it looks very different from others. Right? So for people who want to do animation, they could just select these preset panels here. Let's say I choose the animation. The interface will change, right, a little bit to suit for the animation I want to create. That's if I am trying to work with a flow of animation. Let's say I want to color. It's what we call color grading when you're editing videos. You could select color and the interface will change, to optimize for working with colors. Now, you might not see certain things, right, because we don't have any footage imported. So today we're not dealing with footages, but we're going to be doing some little animations, and we'll see how, practicing some of the principles from yesterday, just to get a hang of the software and how it works. Now, whatever way you rearrange your panels or your window or your workspace, you could always come here to say reset the particular arrangement. For example, let's go to standard. So this is the standard interface. And you can see on my workspace, I have it selected already. Now let's say I take my audio panel, I bring it here, drop it by the corner here. Let's say I take my info, I drop it by the corner here. Let's say I take the paragraph and I bring it, let's say to the side. Okay, now this is my standard interface. I have rearranged everything. Take my timeline, bring it to the top here, right? So everything looks scattered. And you're like, oh, how do I get everything back to the proper positions? Just go to your window, workspace, and then hit reset standard to save layout. And hit that, everything resets back to normal. Right? Now, let's say I have 2 screens to work with, and I like to maybe take my timeline and then drop it on the other side of the screen, you can see that the timeline is floating, right? This is the timeline now. It's floating on its own because I dragged it to my other screen. So I work with 2 screens. I could scale this down, increase the size from here. By the way, you can always scale when you move your mouse to the edge of any of the panels, you could always scale it down, right? However you want. So if I drag this to the other screen, right? Maybe I'll take my project panel as well. You see that floating already. So when you drag it out of this particular window, it starts to float, right? So it's floating because I drag it to my second screen on the right. So both panels starts to float. I could stretch them out on my second screen. And then when I'm done, what I just do is I go to Windows, I go to Save as New Workspace. So this is my new workspace. When I hit that, I could just save it, say, let me just say example, all right? Say, okay. So that's saved. So anytime I open After Effects, and let's say After Effects open as a standard workspace, standard, reset standard, okay? Let's say After Effects open as this, and I want to work with my previously saved workspace. That makes it easier for me to work. You just come here and look for example. So this is it here. I click on it. You can see it takes me back to that saved interface, right? And because it's saved, even if I drag in my project panel back to position and drag in my timeline back to at the bottom here, I drag everything back to position, I can reset, right? My example is selected already as window. I can reset it back to the way that I created it initially. So that's how After Effects works, right? That's how it works in terms of rearranging your panels. Okay, so I'll work with standard for now. All right, I hope that's understood by everybody. Is there any question before I go ahead? Anybody has any question? I'll assume nobody has any question. I need to be even sure you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, just type one in the chat box, so I'll be sure that you guys can hear me, please. I don't want to assume that nobody has any question. Okay. Okay. All right, so we're going further. Okay, now we have the menu bar here. And just right below the menu bar, we have a bar we call tools bar, right? Here we have the tools. So we have the selection tool. We have the hand tool, zoom tool, rotation tool, unified camera tool. So we call it camera tool. This is for hand behind anchor points, actually. So the different tools here to create your shape, your pen tool, if you make use of maybe CorelDRAW, right? Or Adobe Illustrator, you see this pen tool. It's available in all design software. Your text tool, your paintbrush, blah, 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 and all that, and extra attributes here. Now, for the windows you see here, you have a quick menu here to access them. So like you see here, standard menu, small screen, libraries, personal, this is my personal workspace. Go back to standard. So this is a quick selection. If you click here, you can see extra workspaces and all that. This double arrow. Your projects panel, this is where you import every footage, everything you'll be working with. This is where you bring them in. This is where you bring everything in. So let's say, for example, let me look for a random footage to import. So you could either double click here on this empty space. When you double click, it opens your windows where you could import random files, right? So let's say, for example, I import this file. Well, that took so much time. It wasn't supposed to take that much time, but you know, these softwares can be very funny sometimes. Your After Effects, when you start working with After Effects and even other design softwares that could handle like very heavy editing, sometimes they crash. Sometimes they, act weird. So just be aware of that. So I have this footage imported, right? So you'll see that if I import a picture, an image from Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, everything comes in here. You could always easily create a new folder. If you want to keep things organized, you could just right click here, create a new folder, right? Or you just click here, there's a create a new folder button right here. You click on that. Let's say you want to import audio files. So you could just say audio, right? So every audio file you import, you drop them into this folder. You could also drag and drop from a folder. Let's say you open a folder like this, right? You could easily just drag an audio file like this, drop from, from any folder you open randomly on your desktop, it just drops in like that. So this is an audio file. You just drag it into this folder, right? You can see it's inside the folder now. So it just helps to keep things more organized, to create as many folders as you want. Maybe a folder for all your video footages, a folder for all your pictures, a folder for different things. Rather than just keeping everything here on this project panel, it will just get filled up and jam-packed. You start struggling looking for one particular footage or the other, right? So it's as easy as that. That's for the project panel. So everything you import, you're going to be working with will be on the project panel. Now you have your composition panel, right? This is where you can call it your viewport as well. This is where everything happens. This is where you see what you're working on, like your mini TV, right? So this footage, for example, when you select this footage, there's an information that pops out here. You will see the dimension, 1920 by 1080. You will see the name of the footage. You will see, the name of the footage. So we worked with, for this footage carries 29.97 frames per second. Yesterday we talked about frames. How many frames are contained in 1 second of animation? So this one contains 29 frames in 1 second. You see the format of the video and all that. So if you want to work with 1920 by 1080, you could just easily drag this footage, this video, drop where it says new composition, and it creates the video right on the timeline. So you can see the video on the timeline here, right? So every footage, okay. You have a question? Engineer Seriki, raise your hand. Hello. Hello, Engineer Seriki, did you raise your hand? If you're talking, I can't hear you. So let me just go ahead. So when you do that, you have this footage dropping like that. So you could just move your time indicator, this pin, through all the timeline like that. So this video is about 45 seconds long, right? Is it 45 seconds? So you have 5 seconds, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. 45 seconds. So that's it. Another way you could create a composition is to, so I have to, let me just delete this particular composition. I could just select this and hit delete. It deletes the composition, right? I could just click on new composition here. That's another way to create a composition. You could create a composition by dragging a footage from your project panel, just drag and drop. It creates, default composition using the video, the length of the video or the length of the footage. So if the footage is about 1 hour, if you drag and drop on your timeline, you see 1 hour, composition. It won't go beyond that, it won't go less than that. So this is where you type in the name of the composition. So let's say we call it edit 1. Edit 1. We select the video format. Always work with 1920 by 1080 because that's the standard. It could take 29.97 frames per second, right? That's HDTV. So that's 1920 by 1080, square pixel, just leave everything how you see them. If you want your video to be 30 seconds or 1 minute, so from the right, you have seconds. Down to the left, you have seconds. From the right, you have seconds. You have minutes, you have hours, Sorry, you have frames, you have seconds, you have minutes, you have hours, yes. So let's say we want, most times I use 00 here because just a round frame. And here I type in 30 seconds. Okay, let's say we want to work with 1 minute 30 seconds video. So this is a 1 minute 30 seconds composition. Can you see that? The duration 1 minute 30 seconds. Okay. Since we're working with 29.97 frames per second. If you come to this 00 at the back and type in 30, right? What will happen is it would convert that 30 by taking away 29.97. Then it will convert that 29.97, which is a complete 1 second, 29.97 frames in 1 second, to convert it to 1 second and add that 1 second to 30 in front of it. And that 30 will become 31 seconds. So, do you see what happened now? So you have 1 minute, 31 seconds. Even though I typed 30, Even if I type another 30 here, it will convert these 30 frames into 1 second and make this 31 to be 32. Do you see that? So bear that in mind that this last two these 2 digits here, they are frames. So it's not necessarily important that you impute any figure here. Just work with your number of seconds and then your minutes. So 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you just type 03 for 3 minutes. For 10 minutes, you type 10, right? So that's how it works. Okay. When you're done, you just hit OK. And then you have your new composition here. It's an empty composition. You can see nothing is within the composition. How do we know? If we hit this toggle transparency grid, you see that it's transparent. So that's for the project panel and the composition. Now we go to the timeline. For the timeline, this is where you have your, this is where you have your animation play out. Okay. So if I hit spacebar is the default button to play, or you come to your preview panel where you have your buttons play. When you start to play, you see this, you see this red line moving. So that's an indicator that your video is playing, but there's nothing to play here. Right? Can we stop that? If I drag this footage into this composition, okay, remember that this footage is a 45 seconds footage, but we created a composition without this footage. So we created this composition and we gave it 1 minute 30 seconds, right? Now, when you drag this 45 seconds footage, it stops at 45 seconds. You could add extra other footages. You could duplicate this twice and add, make it double, and whatever footage you want to still import to add to complete your 1 minute video you're trying to create, or 1 minute 10 seconds video you're trying to create. Right? So I could hit my space bar to play this. Okay. So that's how it works. Now, you have this blue pin on the timeline, current time indicator, right? I call it time indicator pin. Okay, you could click and drag it, or if you click on, say, 30 seconds, it comes there. If you click on 10 seconds, it comes there. Anywhere you click, it just comes, right? Or you could just click and drag along. Okay, you could click and drag along to wherever you want to, get to. That's for that timeline. So that's the time ruler or timeline. Okay. Now you also have this composition. I don't know how to call it. Composition container. Let me just call it container, right? So what you see here, I could use this to shorten the composition. So if the video gets to, instead of the video playing to the end, right? If I hit play button, for example, it keeps playing and goes beyond 45 seconds. You can see the red line is still moving. But if I want this video to stop at 45 seconds, I could just come here. You see your mouse will change its shape. So different kind of arrow. Then you can drag this and get to this point. You will even see the difference. This white, white looking mask, and then this grayed out area. Okay, so that's to show you that you're reducing your composition. So now if I hit play, it gets to 45 seconds. It gets to 45 seconds and goes back to the beginning. Okay. So that's how to work with this. Now let's say you created your composition and then you're trying to reduce the length. Oh, I don't want that 1 minute again. I want 45 seconds. You can always right click and say trim comp to work area. You trim composition to work area. And you hit on that, it cuts out the excesses, and then you have your complete comp here. So this is your normal 45 seconds now. Okay. I can always undo. Any software can undo with Ctrl+Z. Ctrl+Z would undo what you've done. Now, how do you know you've undone what you did? There is a scale, timeline scale at the top of your timeline. Is to reduce or scale out your timeline. So let's say, for example, I want to see this video by the frames. Now I can only see from, this is 2 seconds, right? 2 seconds is too, it's too tiny, but I want to zoom in more. You could do this, right? You can see that it's bringing out the frames now. So I can walk per frame. Okay, I can walk per frame. When I zoom in like that, I can walk per frame. You see that? Okay. So that's what this control does. This one at the top of your timeline. That's what it does. So I'm just showing you all these things because we'll be working with them subsequently. I want to make sure that we do some practical tonight. So I'll see everybody's screen. For those who have After Effects installed already, I'll see what you're doing. And then I'll correct, and then maybe from 8 o'clock, we'll start to do some practical, right? That's for this area of the timeline. What else? Okay. There's some extra controls I wouldn't show you now until subsequently later. Now, whatever composition you open, so I have edit 1 created. Let's say I want to create a new composition called edit 2. Remember how we created our composition? We right click. You can right click on this your composition panel. Right click, you will see new. Sorry. Okay, that's new viewer. Sorry. So you would go to your composition panel here. You click on new composition, right? Then you can edit like we did the first time, and then type, edit 2, all your settings remaining the same. If you want to work with 24 frames or 30 frames, you can always click here and select 30, right? 24 frames, 30 frames. If you want to work with 60 frames, you can do that. But it's not recommended for, regular videos, except you're trying to maybe work on, high-end movies or something like that. So basically, you should be working with 29.97 or 30 frames. 29.97 is the normal standard that people work with. So that's another, let's say we want to make this 30 to 0. We want to make this 45 seconds. Okay, another 45 seconds, we hit OK. Now we have edit 1. Now we have edit 2 and edit 1. So every composition you create will arrange on this, composition tab, okay, or project tab, composition tab actually. So this is a whole project, but this is your composition tab. So if you create another comp, right, or another composition, you always have it opened on this tab, so that you could open as much as 10, 20, and all that tabs, right? They'll just line up like that here at the top of this timeline. All right. There are different ways to create composition. This way is one of the ways. Click composition, new composition. Or you could just click this button here, create a new composition. It brings out the same dialog box. Okay. Right. Now, let's say you created a composition that is 45 seconds, and let's say you want to reduce it to 40 seconds. You could use the way I showed you initially by dragging this to 40 seconds, and then right-click, trim composition to work area. Or you could just right-click and say composition settings, right? It brings the same dialog box out for that composition that you created initially. You can see 45 seconds, so I could reduce it and say, I don't want 45 seconds anymore, I want 30. Hello?
Yeah, I think we lost you
I
for
can hear you.
a moment, but you're back now.
Right.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know when I was logged out. Was I logged out for too long?
No,
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Was I logged out for too long?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Welcome back.
Okay. I think someone was trying to dial my number. So where I stopped was I was trying to explain to you how to edit your composition settings
Just,
if
could you
you
share,
don't want.
could you share your screen again, please?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. So let me share this audio. Share some. All right. So I was trying to show you how to edit your composition settings if you maybe mistakenly created maybe a 1 minute composition instead of a 30 seconds. So you could right click and go to composition settings. It brings, so let me go back. Let's say you have edit 1 opened, right? You can just right click on the composition panel, anywhere around the panel, and just click on settings. It brings this dialog box out. Then you can type in the numbers you want. Say I want 45 seconds, for example. I could just delete this 32, type 45. Now be careful, you have to be very, I mean, if you use glasses, you might have to actually use your glasses properly, because this digits could be very tiny. You just need to, you know, look very carefully. It's very, you know, small, right? So now I have my 00, 45 seconds, 00. I click OK. My composition would cut down to 45 seconds. You can see that it just cuts down. I can undo that, Ctrl Z to undo that. You see the stretch. So, or you can go to composition here and say composition setting. It's the same thing. Go right click on the composition you want to edit and say composition setting. Go right click on the project panel and say new composition. Okay. Create a new composition from there. So it's very dynamic. It gives you freedom to work however you want to work. Okay. Now, subsequently, we'll talk about these little buttons around why we're creating what we're creating. I'll show you how to make use of these little buttons, the most important ones. The ones that are not important, we won't talk about it so as to save time. Okay. We'll go into practicals in the next few minutes. So for these other panels here, for example, I select this guy. This guy has an audio to it. This video has an audio, so I could see that sign here as an audio sign. So if I play this, okay, maybe I did not attach an audio to the video and I was creating it. It's supposed to be an audio, right? It's supposed to be an audio there. So hold on. Sometimes this audio issue comes up. Just go to your edit preferences. Sort your audio issue by your output. Where's that? Audio hardware. Okay. Change this to my speaker and default output speaker. Or this. Let's see if that works. I need to be sure. Let me check this. It's frequencies, audio hardware. Mapping speaker 1, speaker 2. Okay, so that's yes. So you guys saw what I just did, right? So sometimes you need to go into your edit preferences. Let's say, for example, now, like what I was talking about yesterday, where I said you can use your title safe area. So if I turn this off, see the title safe area here. You could always have, you could also have your rule of thirds. So this rule of thirds, you have nine rectangles. Yesterday when I switched it on, it was, you know, more than this. So it was just So go to your edits, go to your preferences, grids and guides. Okay, your grids and guides. Now you could just, let's say you want 6, and here you want 3. You want the color to be red for the grid. Okay, 80 pixels. You could reduce the size if you want to make it tinier, or how many subdivisions do you want, you know, and all that. Just hit OK. You see how it comes up, right? So you can always edit certain things from your preferences. So under general, for example, you have things like show tool tips. So that's the tool tips, like when you hover around any particular area, it would just show you the name or show you how to use whatever, you know. So certain things, all these controls, just leave them how they are until you get acquainted with the software properly. I mean, you wouldn't really have any need to change anything here. It's just most times you might have audio issue. Maybe when you plug in your earpiece and you unplug that, you might not hear the audio from your After Effects anymore. So most times what I need to come in here for just be for my audio hardware, right? I just come to my default output and I change it back to my speakers from my, you know, system and all that. Here you have the memory usage, right? For After Effects. So After Effects is making use of the 10 gig RAM that is available for graphics, remaining 5 for any other application. So you see, it's a very heavy software. It uses lots of very high gig. You know, the more gigabytes you have for graphics on your system, the more it would use. Makes your work more efficient. Okay. And all that. So appearance. I mean, I could make my After Effects brighter, like the old school After Effects. Okay. There's a lot you could do with these preferences. It's just you know, however you prefer to have your software appear to you, right? So that's basically it. You could change colors of different things, your color codings, but I would suggest you leave these things the way they are, because this is like a universal setting. So let's say, for example, you were working on a different system, and then maybe for your own system, you change the colors, you get confused when you get to other people's system to work with. So it's better you just leave these things the way they are. Most times you would have to change your audio hardware, right? There is something I want to show you again. I think for auto save for crash. I don't know if it's available here, but every software do have what they call auto save for crash, right? So when your laptop crashes, it just saves fragments of the last, you know, the last thing you're working on. So this is auto save here, right? You auto save. Now, you could say save every 10 minutes while I'm working. Save every 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, you just see that your system will just tell you auto saving. You can't work until it finishes saving. It saves a part of that work. You just keep working. So like when your system crashes, sometimes it's better to, if you see that your After Effects crashes a lot, you could set this to save every 5 minutes. It might just put some hiccups on your work, but while you're working, but it's safer, right? When your laptop crashes, you can always go back to previously saved files, maybe 5 minutes ago. I've had issues where maybe while I'm working, I just wanted to go pick up something, and I spent about maybe 2 minutes while I was picking up, came back, and After Effects has closed down, and I already, you know, I didn't save that particular thing I was working on. Then I'll just go back to my auto save folder. Just, it saves just exactly where you save your file in the folder you save where your file. You have an extra folder there called auto save folder. So you just go in there, you see that the system has auto saved for you already before it crashed. So if you just open that and continue from where you stopped. So it's very important you switch on your auto save. You can set it to 10 minutes. How many versions of that file? So 4, 5, 6, or 7. Just keep it on keep it minimal. You don't need to have so many versions of the auto save. Right. So 4, 5 is okay. Some people 6, so that you can go back to 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes ago, and all that. So that's the important thing you would need this preference space for. So how to access it again? Edit, preferences. You have all that here. So I think for now, let's just go into practical. Let's just practice some of the things we learned yesterday about motion. Delete this, hit delete on my keyboard. Just delete everything here. Delete, delete, delete. So starting afresh, right? How do we start? I just create composition, new, 45 seconds, 1920 by 1080, everything is the same. Just call this bouncing ball animation. Bouncing ball animation, it's okay. So we're going to create a bouncing ball animation, right? Are we all ready? If you're ready, just type in one in the chats. Let me see. For those who have the software installed, though. Hello, are you ready? Are you ready? Type in one in the chat box, please. I need to be sure that we're following. So I'm going to share a football image, or if you can source any PNG image online. So I'll show you what I'm working with here. Just a second. Mhm. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Hello? Okay, so how do you source for images? How do you source for images? You could source for images online like this. Let's say you want to use, for example, let's say Google Locator icon. So you could just type something like location icon. Always add PNG, transparency. Right? Google can be very tricky, but I'll show you how to know which one is transparent and which one is not. So sometimes you see images like this that have this white and gray, background. That's not transparent, though. You don't download that. Now, how do you know which one is transparent? Let's say you have some like this. If you click on this, for example, now this is how you know this one is transparent. You could see that. Let me select something else. So while looking at this image here, you see there is no white and gray background. The white and gray background is a representation for transparency. White and gray dotted tiny dots. So when you see the image like this, it doesn't have the white and gray dots. But if you see this one has the white and gray dots. Right? This one doesn't have. But when you click the one that doesn't have the white and gray, and then it opens like this, you see white and gray from here, then you know it's transparent. So this image is transparent. Now, to source for...
There's a lot. If you can just take that again, there's a lag between what you're displaying and what you're saying.
Okay, there's a lag.
Yes.
Okay. I was just trying to explain how you know the difference between an image that has a transparent background, that is an image without any colored background, just transparent images. I'm sure you work with images, right? But let me just show you what I mean here. So look at this football, for example. You can see it's standing alone. There is no maybe white background or black background around it. Right? You can see that, right? It has nothing around. So this is a PNG image. PNG, portable network graphics, no background. But to download from the internet, random, quick icons like this, maybe you want to use in your video as a location icon. How do you know which one is transparent and which one is not? It's just something I figured out myself, right? So I'm just showing you. When you click on the image or when you hover around the image, I don't know if your mouse, so I think I have a plugin that enables me when I hover around any image, it just pops out like this. But even if your own doesn't do that, when you look at the image, I don't know if you can see my screen. Let me zoom in a bit. Let me zoom in my window properly. See, make it larger. Okay. So let's look at these images, for example. Now, this particular image here, this one, right? Without hovering my mouse around it, if you look at that image, you will see that around that image, there's this dotted gray dots around it, like gray and white dots. Now, when you see that in an image like that, it's not transparent. It's just it's just a fake transparency, right? You have to actually click on that link to take you to a website where you most probably will have to pay to download the transparent version of it. But if you want to download directly from Google, like searching like this, look for images that are plain. Like this one is plain white on the background. Now, you can't be sure if this is transparent or not. So when you see an image that is plain white like this, the next step is to click on that image. When you click on it once, it will open on the side like this. And when it opens on the side, this is how you would then know, oh, it's transparent. How would you know that? You will then see the white and gray. So I'm hovering around gray. This is white. This is gray, white, gray, white. So gray and white dotted lines around. But initially, looking at the image from outside here, it has a white background. But here we're seeing gray and white. So that shows you that it's a transparent image. That's how to know. I can right click on this and just say save image as you know, whatever I want to name it. Let me just call it location icon. And I save that. So when I go to my folder here, can you now see that it has no background, even though it had white from here. So we already checked it by clicking on it and see that it has the white and gray background here, but here it has just white. So that's how we figured that this is a transparent background image. This one, for example, has white background, but if you click on it, it has white and gray. So this one is also transparent. It has transparent background. So that's how you would know. Another thing I want to take note of when you're searching for images is the size of the image. So it's always good you work with large images. So go to tools here, go to size and choose large. All right. So you always see the size. Work with images from like 1,200 pixels, you know, from like 800 upwards. 500 is good, 500 by 500. But it depends on what you want to use it for. If you want to use it for smaller icons, use 500 by 500 or 500 by 400, 500 by 600. So for me, I like to work with images from 1,000 pixels above, right? So this is 1,200 by 1,200 pixels. So this is large enough. It wouldn't make my video look low quality. Right. If you use you know, images that are less than that, you know, images that are maybe 400, 200 by 200, when you use it in your video will appear very pixelated, right? So appear very pixelated and low quality. You can see this image is 1,640 by 2,000. So this is actually a 2K image. If I hover around it, you see how sharp it looks. It's also has a transparent background from what I see here. Okay, it's white here, but it has white and gray dotted lines. So you could experiment on that later or even now to see what I'm talking about. So these are just quick tips on how to get some assets. Let me save this as, so we might use some of these icons for animation. Location icon 2. Location icon 2. All right. Go back to my folder to confirm. You can see that. Okay. So it shows it's a transparent image. All right. Another very good source where you could get good images from, vector images, because we'll be making use of Adobe Illustrator as our editing software that when we edit what we want to edit, we bring it into After Effects and work with After Effects. So you can make use of freepik.com. So freepik. All right. on Freepik, you could get any icon you want. You could get, you know, a map. Let's say maps, for example. Okay. Now, on this website, freepik.com, you get free high resolution vector, you know, images here that you can edit. You can scale it to any size you want to infinity inside of Adobe Illustrator. There are some premium files, and you always know that by seeing the crown at the top left of that particular icon. You can filter you filter out the premium, you know, the premium assets just by clicking free. Right, when you click on free, it just shows you only the free items without showing the premium items. If you prefer to have premium, you could just subscribe and then you have access to premium and free, you know, assets. If you want pictures or photos or videos, you select whichever one you want. So let's say we click on photos, for example, and we're looking for a photo. So these photos are high-res pictures of anything, right? High-resolution pictures of anything. Download for free. Now, you want to work with vectors, you click on vectors to show you high resolution, you know, images for vectors. Anyway, vector doesn't really work with resolution. It's vector, so it can be enlarged to any size. So you could
Sorry, can you hear me?
yes, you want to say something?
Will it be possible to get a vector for a place in Lagos on that website?
Excuse me?
On Lagos, right? Vector map for Lagos.
Yeah.
The challenge with all this the challenge with sites like this is that we don't have so much Nigerians creating this content, you know,
There's an
or are
opportunity.
used. Yes, that's actually true. An opportunity is there. You know, these things can be sold here. If you have you know, pictures of Lagos, you can upload it here, and people will come and actually buy. You know, pictures of streets, you know, drone footages or drone pictures, upload them here. So let's say we could get Nigeria. I don't know what's wrong with my internet. I don't know if it's my internet or just my Google just misbehaving. There's this lag happening. Okay, let's say we can find Nigeria. We find map of Nigeria. There's this lag happening that I don't understand. So I'm just trying to see if I could optimize the speed of this guy. Okay, so we might not get so much assets for things regarding particular countries in Africa, right? Let's say Street of Lagos and all that, but you can get these footages from some other sites. So Shutterstock is a good place where you could get pictures like that, but not vectors, right? Very difficult to get vector art for. In fact, any country or any state, you could get the map of Africa, you could get the map of Nigeria, maybe the map of Lagos, right? But not necessarily the streets or, you know, street view and all that. But on Shutterstock, you could get, you know, like live pictures of streets, not vectors, live pictures of streets. People took and uploaded to Shutterstock. Yeah, you get that. Most likely it will be paid. Like this Shutterstock, for example, they always run their ads. So we have Jersey, we have the Lekki Link Bridge here. Just that the vector.
Mano.
Sorry?
Yeah, so can I suggest we try using a screen grab from maybe Google Maps or Google Earth? So that
yes, you can use a screen grab from that. Yeah.
All right.
So if you have your Google Map, you can always use your screen grab. If your keyboard has a screen grab, just screen grab that. You drop it into, let's say, Photoshop, for example, or even Adobe Illustrator, you know, and then you can import that as an image into After Effects and do whatever you want to do with it. Yes, that's possible. So, I mean, when we get to that's I think this third week, right? I guess based on the outline, we'll delve into that. So I'm just using this opportunity to show you where you could get assets from. Shutterstock has, you know, take your time to just search Shutterstock. Shutterstock is mostly paid. At least I know 90% is paid or even 100% paid. There's nothing free on Shutterstock. But for Freepik or Vecteezy.com, you could just search randomly online. You get more websites. There are quite a number of them. Okay, so that's by the way. Let's get back to what we're trying to animate. Let me share. Let me see if I could share this. Can I share this? Hello, Tayo. Are you there?
Yep. What's up?
Okay, so I want to share a file.
Okay.
Or maybe we should do it like this, right? If everybody can try download a picture of a football like this, any one of your choice, make sure it's PNG. Just use the same parameters I used, I typed in, and get something like this. So let me do it again. So
okay, okay. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to open a Google Drive.
Better to practice
that but not for this class, but subsequent classes will open a Google Drive so everybody can share stuff too. But please carry on, Christian.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have your Google search bar open, just type ball PNG, right? And just get any of these images. This one is fine. You know, just to practice how to, you know, download these things and use them, because it will come in handy in the future when you start working. You might just, you know, be working and you just, oh, I need something like this tiny icon. You know, you could just quickly go on Google, search, blah, 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 icon, PNG. Look for the right one, download it, and just drop it in. So I could just drag it from this, my folder, into this pump here, and it comes in like that. Very easy, right? So we have our football here. I could just drag and drop on my screen. My composition, you can see, is very large. It's larger than my composition screen. Scale. So by the way, for every footage, every image you drop in on your timeline, you have certain transform controls. You have the position control, you have the scale control, rotation, and opacity. So we have the vertical and horizontal movement. By just hover around this number, you will see something like a double-headed arrow left and right. It means you can drag left, drag right. Okay. For the other side, just beside it, there's a comma with the other number. You could down, or or basically you could just use your mouse to drag around the viewports. Just drag it around the viewports however you want. Okay. For the scale, you have 100%. Go scale down like this, scale up by just hovering my mouse around the number, scale it down, or I could just click and type in any number of my choice. Maybe I want to scale down to 50%. I can just type in 50. There you have it. Okay. Maybe let's say I want 20%. I want it to be smaller. Okay. By the way, I'm using my mouse, the center roller. You can roll in, roll out. That's for zoom in, zoom out. Roll in your mouse, roll out. That's for zoom in and zooming out. Okay, so that's what I'm using. Move this here. Maybe I'll make it 10%. Make it smaller. Okay. I want to center it to my screen. The best way to center it to the screen, a lot of people will just let me drag it and place at the center. No matter how accurate you think you are, it won't be at the center. So the way to do that is to use a panel called Align. Okay, so you can see Align A. It's not on. We'll switch it on, and then we have it here. Now you see Align horizontally, align vertically. If you click on Align vertically, the ball comes into the center. Align horizontally, let's say it's here. Vertically will come to the center. Horizontally it comes like this. Okay, we could align to the right side of the screen or to the left side of the screen. So this aligns that your object perfectly to wherever you want it to be. To the bottom of the screen, center, bottom, top, So this is how you align the object. So now it's at the center of our screen. This is where I want it. I want to move this ball up. Now, there are two ways. I could just move the ball upwards. You can see when I move without holding any other button except my mouse, the ball could go off course. Let me undo that. Now, if you hold down Shift, the Shift on your keyboard, and then you use your mouse to click and drag, right? While you're dragging it, it stays on course, like along that line, without leaving that center. Now, let me show you how it works. So let's say I drag this ball like this. Immediately I hold down Shift, it snaps to the center. You see, when I release my Shift, it follows my mouse. When I hold down my Shift, it snaps to the center line. So the shift is like your best friend when it comes to working, putting things in alignment. Holding your Shift key is very important. So I'm holding my Shift key now, dragging this up. Now, by the way, you have to click and select it first, hold it, click hold, then drag before you hold your Shift. All right. But if you hold down Shift first, before clicking to drag, you're trying to select. Okay, you're trying to select. So that's what it would do. But if you click drag, then you hold shift, then it snaps. Okay. So we're trying to create a bouncing ball effect. We're going to work with the position and the scale. Remember yesterday we talked about clicking the time indicator here, this stopwatch, to switch on the animation or the keyframe. So I switch on the first position, I switch on the first size scale. I come down to like 5 frames. I bring the ball holding my shift, drag it down. Let's say I want it hits the ground here. And then when it hits the ground, it needs to, let me zoom in properly here. So it hits the ground here, it needs to squash. So I hold down my now notice something. I scale down using any of these tiny squares around the ball. When I scale down, remember that in the rule of squash and stretch, we have to squash the ball, top and bottom, as well as scale it out from the side. Okay? So that it maintains the same volume. But if I just squash it down alone without scaling, you see what will happen to it. So just, you know, go out of existence, right? Or just goes flat out. So now we have this, goes flat here. Then let's say comes back to number 10, the 10th frame. We could easily copy this keyframe. Just select like this, just click, drag, select. For scale and position, Control C is copy. Or if you right click, you should have a, okay, there's ease out here. Okay, we'll come to this. When you select these keyframes, this is actually a long process. You go to edit and say copy as Control C, right? Paste is Control V as common for every software, including Microsoft Word. So just select this, Control C, right? Control V, it pastes that on 10th frame. So we have this now. That's quite fast. So we're going to select drag so as to get it slower because it appears too fast. So this is what we have. Ball goes down. Okay. That's a simple animation. Now, how do you make this more realistic? Now, this ball is going down and then squashing on the air. That's very unrealistic. So we want the ball to actually squash when it hits the ground. So that's when the reverb force takes it back. So we'll keep the ball in the same shape before it hits the ground. The shape remains the same before it hits the ground. So we have to select the scale, which is this, the original size. We copy, Control C, and then paste here, Control V. Okay, so the ball remains the same size, then it hits the ground, squashes, then going back up, you copy that same size, and paste, then it goes back up. Now you see it looks more realistic now, right? Comes down, bounces. Yeah, I need to slow this thing down more. So I would drag this out to 20 frames rather. Here, 20 frames. Taking this to, 10th frame of the second seconds. So just that's quite very slow. So let's get back to how it was. I would have to reduce this. So we have this layout like that. Okay, so now this is what we have at the moment. I wouldn't go further. I want us to practice this, right? Now, after this, we are going to tweak this further to make it even more fluid, applying other principles. So we haven't applied ease in, ease out, right? We are still going to we're still going to apply the stretch out, like when gravity pulls on the ball, there's supposed to be a little bit of stretching out, like going towards the ground before it squashes. Okay, we'll do that. But I want us to practice this. I want us to practice this. How many people can practice this now so that I see your screen? Who is willing to share his screen so that we'll work together? If you're willing to share your screen so that I guide you on how to do this that I just did, can you just indicate with your hand? Hello, if you're willing to share your screen so I guide you on how to create exactly what I did, please signify by raising up your hand or the raise of hand.
Oh, come on, guys. Salisu Shegun has stepped up.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen now. Can I share your screen, Mr. Shegun? Okay, awesome. All right. Okay. So the first thing you do is to import your image. Do you have your football image? You could open up your mic, please. Hello,
Yes,
can you hear me?
can
Okay,
hear
good.
you.
Okay, good. Do you have your football image downloaded already?
Yes, I have it.
Okay, so how do you import? Do you remember?
Uh,
You could just drag and drop from the folder into that project panel where your mouse is right now. Or you could double click on the project panel space.
this?
It is not a recognized file. The file format you download, the file format you downloaded wouldn't work. I think I can share this image here. Can I? Hold on. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can. I'll share this image here. See if you can download it from Zoom. I shared it with you. I shared it in the chat.
Okay.
Yes, download this one and download this into your work folder. So you, I mean, by now you should have like a work folder you're using for the training. So wherever you want to download it, just download it, import it from there.
From the chat, you said I
And you can, yeah, from our chat here on
import?
Zoom, download the image. I sent the image here.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
Can you see
Yes,
the
it's up
image?
there now.
Okay, I can see the ball.
Yes. So if you're working with your laptop, just download it directly to your laptop. If you're working with your laptop, download directly to your laptop.
Okay.
Please let me know when you have it downloaded.
I think it's there. Thank you, sir. Please move the window away.
Do you have it downloaded already?
Yes, I see it.
Okay. Can you import it?
I dragged it on the board. I see it.
No. You know you're
Not
sharing
yet.
your screen.
Yeah,
So
so there's
this is what you do. If you've clicked on the download, it will show you
You're not seeing my
downloading to a
screen. This is my
yeah,
screen
we
now.
can
Is
see
it
your
not shared?
yeah, we can see your screen, but I
you
think
can
there
see
is
your screen,
there's a
your
bit of a
After
lag.
Effects interface.
Oh,
That is After Effects interface. We can only see your After Effects interface.
Okay.
can I do this?
So what you do, if you have it imported already, what you do is double click on the project panel space, that empty space there where you have your project panel, right?
Okay.
Not the composition panel, that's composition. Your project panel on the left. Yes, that space, double click there. Double click. Yes, your folder would open. You can search for the image and then import. Search, get to where you saved the image that you downloaded and then import from there.
Right, double click or just click and drag.
No, just when you get to the image, right? Is that the image?
Yes.
Okay, just double click on it, or you click once and hit import anyone. You double click or select and hit import anyone. Yes.
Okay, sir.
So yes, you have it imported. So just drag and drop on drag it from the project panel down. Okay.
It is.
Yes. It's all right. It's all right. So now, before we continue, let's try something. You see your menu bar, right? Do you remember your menu bar at the top where you have file, edit, composition at the top? At the top. Yes. Go to
Yes.
Windows on your right. Windows on the right. No. Go to Windows.
Yeah,
On
yeah,
that same menu bar, you will see a menu called Windows at the right.
I think it's blocking my view or something.
You're just beside help.
Yeah, okay. That's a Zoom. This thing is blocking your
It's
view.
blocking, yes.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
What you do and click on there's on that tiny this thing there for the
Okay,
Zoom.
this one.
The Zoom options. Yeah, that's Zoom options. there's a just click on those three dots on the extreme right of it. You see options will appear. So you see where they say hide something like that.
Hide video
You see
panel.
it? Yes.
Is it hide video
It will
panel
go.
or floating meeting control?
Floating meeting control, yes.
Still there.
Yes. It must have disappeared by now.
It's still there. Still covering. Okay.
Okay.
Still covering.
You
Well,
could try any
okay.
of the hide.
Okay.
Okay.
On the
Because I
upper
can't remember the
left.
particular name.
So let me see if I can guide you. On the
I'm
upper
on Windows now.
Okay, Windows.
good,
Yes.
good.
Oh yeah, click on the Windows.
Can go to where
All right.
working space.
Hold on, please. Yes, workspace. Good. Now, can you go down to standard where you have PQRS standard? Yes.
I'm there now.
Yes, click on it. Okay, just to have your screen reset. Just wanted to see how it looks. Okay. So we are going to start working on this ball. Now, I want you to go to your timeline, okay, at the bottom. That's your timeline, the whole timeline from left to right. That's your timeline. Now, on the left side of your timeline, you have where you have the image. No. On your timeline, not those icons. The
Okay.
ball, the football itself, yes.
Okay.
So there is the football itself. There is this tiny icon, right?
Okay. Where is the dynamic?
Try to follow me. Try to follow me, Shego, please. So bring your mouse down to the timeline. To the timeline. Yes. So you see where the image is, right? That the ball image, the layer for the ball image. Yes, that's it. No, come down to the image now. You left it. Yes, I want to work with your mouse. I'm watching your mouse. Yes, that's it. That's the ball.
Okay.
That's the image. Yes. So that's the image of the ball, right? Now follow that image like that. As your mouse is there, go to the left.
Right.
Keep going down to the left. You're going right.
Okay.
Just keep going down left. Keep going down left. Keep going. I'm watching your mouse. Just keep going. Yes. So what you're seeing there, everything you see are connected to the image. So that's the image. Now
Okay.
you will see the eye icon at the extreme left. That's the eye. Extreme
Okay.
left. Now click on the eye. Just click once on it.
I'll click once.
Not
I can't
yet.
see any difference. So is there a lag on the system? Click once again, please.
No.
Click on that eye, that particular eye. Yes.
I'll click on it. There's a green something that appeared.
No, if you click on that eye, it's supposed to turn off. It's supposed to turn off the ball. You won't see the ball again.
Not there. Not turning on.
Are you using your mouse? Are you using a
Yes,
mouse or are you using your...
I'm using my mouse.
Oh, there's something wrong there. Why is it not turning off? When you... Okay, there's a bit of lag with your software. Oh, I see. There's a bit of lag with your software. When you click on that eye icon, right, you're supposed to turn off the ball, right? You won't see the ball again. Then if you click it, it will turn back on. Okay, so now let's go back to the eye icon, please. Now, follow my direction, right? So after the eye icon, you will see like two tiny boxes. Yes, those two tiny boxes. Then beside the two tiny boxes, you will see a greater than sign.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's it. Can you click on it? Okay. So you can see when you click on it, it drops down. They call it drop down. Okay. You see where it's written transform.
Yes.
There is a greater than sign on the left side of it.
Yes.
Can you click on that as well? Can you see it drops down?
Yes.
Now it shows you the controls that you have over the board. Now this is like the base, like the foundation for everything you'll be doing in After Effects. Right, everything you'll be doing inside of this software, this is the proper foundation. You'll be using this, trust me, 80% of the time. So it's very important that you know these things that I'm showing you right now, because this is what will form the foundation for every other thing we'll be doing throughout this training. Okay, so to see, you can scroll down, use your mouse, your roll. Okay, so whenever you see that some options are hiding at the bottom, you can roll your mouse. It will just roll up and down. You see more options. Okay. Now, if you want to have your timeline to show more, you want to have more space for your timeline generally.
Okay.
Can you see the blue outline circling?
Yes, I can.
The whole
See it.
timeline. Yes. Now,
Yeah.
very good. That's it. Now, for that, please, that's icon there. You see, just drag it up. Click and drag. No, come back down. Yeah. Yes. Just get to that line. Just get to the line. No. Oh, dear. Okay, fine. This is a very good example of when you mistakenly move your panels around. Can you go back to your Windows menu at the top? Your menu bar, window menu bar.
Okay.
Yeah, the window option. Yes. Go back to your workspace, then reset standard down. Yes, just reset. Okay. Okay, fine. Let's try it again. So if you look at your panels very well, right? It look like these panels are arranged on a table. So like there are tiny spaces in between each panel. So that's the space you need to get to. When you get to that space with your mouse, you will notice your mouse with a hand. This particular icon you see now, you can see how it looks. There is like an equal to sign. There is a arrow pointing up, arrow pointing down. Yes, immediately you see that, it means that now you can click and drag to increase the size of your panel. Make sure you see it and click and drag. Yes, so that's it. That's it. It's fine. So you can do that to anywhere, any particular. You can try it on the space on the right, on the left, or the panels on the left or right. Whenever you see that space in between two panels, move your mouse to that space in between those two panels. You can always move left, move right. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now let's work with scale. Yes, scale. Now you see the figures there, 100%, right? When you hover your mouse around it, you see a finger that comes up with left and right arrows. When you see that finger come up, you can now click and drag. Just click and hold. Oh, you want to change the number. Click somewhere outside. Click somewhere outside. Empty space. Click on an empty space.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm back.
now. Yes. Now, click
hold.
and hold. Yes, click and hold, then drag left. Watch the numbers reduce while you drag left. Okay. Do you see that? So, I mean, when you practice this over time, you get used to it. It's quite very simple. Okay. Please don't take it down to 0. You won't see anything on your screen again. Okay. When you scale it down to 0, you start to go into minus. When it goes into minus, it starts to scale up back again, but in the inverted direction. So just bear that in mind. So just work with from 0 up to 100. From 0 up to 100. So now it's at now you understand how to drag. So now let's look at how to click and type in your particular figure that you want. So you just click once, then on your keyboard just type in any number, maybe 15 or 20. 20, enter. So that's how you put in the size you want faster instead of clicking and dragging. If that's stressful, you just click there, type in any number you want, and it scales down. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go to your composition panel. That's the viewport. Because you can see your screen is small. So let's zoom it in. Roll your mouse up. Okay, you can see it's moving in and out, in and out, in and out, right? Now, how do you keep your screen fixed? Within your viewport, now notice something here. On every panel that you're working on every panel that you are on, there would be a blue outline circling that particular panel all around. There will be a blue. Now, within anything I'm talking about that, maybe I say click something here, move your mouse here. Always know that it will be within that box. If it's going to be outside that box, I would direct you. So within that box, you will see at the bottom left of it, you will see where it's written 25%. Now click on it. This is where you have your zoom. Now, what I would advise you work with now would be, you can choose any option for your zoom here by yourself. You can fit up to 100% at the top. That's fit to screen, top, up. Yes. When you click on it, now, when you click on it, your screen stays fixed. Let me show you what that means. Now, let's try to reduce the size of your timeline, just like we did before. Go to the empty space between, you've scrolled your mouse and spelled that. Please kindly go back to the percentage bottom left within the composition panel. The same place we just left, yes. Select the fit up to 100%, yes. Okay, so it fits to your screen. Yes. Can you come back to the space in between the two panels? That's the yes, between the timeline and the composition panel. Now drag down.
Okay.
As you're dragging down, can you see that your viewport is expanding together? Do you notice that black viewport where the ball is? Do you notice it expands together while you're adjusting the panels? Yes, so that's the advantage of using that fit to 100%. So it means that anyhow you scale your panel, anyhow you resize your panels by what you're doing, that's resizing panels. Anytime you're doing that, the viewports will just adjust accordingly. So it makes your workflow easier, faster, right? You might want to work with that more often, So I needed to mention that. Now let's try position. Let's go to the position transform properties on the timeline. Position, yes, you have position, not anchor point position, yes. So we have two numbers there. We have 606.4, comma, and we have 280.6, right?
Yes.
Now, one controls vertical, the other one controls horizontal. So test and see which one controls which. Hover around, then click and drag. No, don't click and remove your finger. If you just click and remove your hand, right, it will go into typing mode. Yes, so hover around the move. Yes. Now you can see the ball moving horizontally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be scared. Drag it as far as you can to the left, to the right. So the faster you drag it, the faster the ball moves. So it has this average movement, kind of. Now this one controls vertical up and down, right? Controls vertical up and down. Now this controls will be the controls that I'll be making use of throughout this training. So, I mean, every other person has seen how this works. You can practice on your own. Positioning, scaling, positioning, scaling. So for every other control, that's how every other thing works, but we're using position and scale for now. Okay, so since you know how to use your position and your scale now, let's do a little animation. Position animation. Okay. Now, on your viewports, your composition panel, your viewport, the ball, you can see the ball there, right? No, click on the ball. Just click on the ball. No, don't double click. Hold on. Don't click anything, please. Now, when you double click on an image, it will open as layer panel like this. Now, you might be confused, like what's going on. So it's just because you double clicked on it. So it just helps you to work on the ball individually. We've not gotten to this stage. So what you would do now, just at the top of the ball where you have the layer, blah, 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 right? You see an X at the left.
Yes.
Yes, just hit on the X and close it. So that's it. Solve the problem. So let's continue. Select the ball, just drag it like you're dragging anything. Just click and drag. Drag it to the left. Yes. Just drag it to the left. Okay, so position it however you want to position it. We're going to move this ball from left to right now. Okay. I'm going to move this ball from left to right. How do we start? Do you remember? We'll put in a keyframe. We'll switch on the timer. You know how to switch on the timer? Do you remember? For the position, you know how to switch on the timer. So on the transform attributes, transform on your timeline, yes. Beside that word position, there is a timer there, like a stopwatch. On the left, yes. Click on it. It will turn blue. Now, it means that you have switched on the animation ability for that ball. When you see that stopwatch turn blue, you can see the appearance is different from the other ones. It's not only blue now, it now has a tiny finger, right? It has a tiny finger there, like as if it's counting, like a clock that's already ticking. Okay, so it means that this is ready to be animated. Okay, so we are on 0 second. Okay, we're on 0 second. Now, do you remember where the time ruler is? Just on your timeline on the right side of it, the right side, the right area, the right section on the right, yes, that area. At the top of it, there's where you have the 0, 1 second, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Yes, that space. Now, that is where you can own, that's what they call the time ruler, okay? Time ruler. Now, so I'll always say go to your time ruler, right? Just for reference sake. Now, there is a pin time indicator. Yes, that blue pin, right? Current time indicator. Drag it further to like 10 seconds. Just drag it to 10 seconds. Okay. Now on 10 second, on the 10th second, we're going to hold that ball, your viewport, on your viewport. Drag the ball to any other position of your choice. Are you okay with that position? Okay. Now you see that you've done your first animation. Okay. By the way, let me also call your attention to something. Do you notice any green line in between those? That green line represents rendering. Okay, it's called rendering. Yes. Now, depending on how much load of assets you have inside your timeline, it renders the work so that you can easily play it, and it plays. You see it playing, moving. That's how After Effects works. It works with RAM. It works with the RAM. So it's called RAM render. Okay. So how do you see your animation play out? Right? Now, drag your time indicator back to 0. The time indicator back to 0. Okay. Now hit your space bar on your keyboard. Your space bar. Just hit your space bar. Starts to play. When it gets to 10 seconds, hit your space bar again to stop.
Well done.
Okay. There's a bit of a lag with your end. I don't know if it's because I don't know if it's Zoom or just your laptop, right? So you see how that works, right? You see how it works, right? So that's how to animate positions, okay? Using keyframes. So you have 2 keyframes. Let's add one more keyframe okay, let's do it like this. Select the keyframe on the 10th second. That keyframe there, that dot on 10 seconds. No, down. The dot. No. Yes, the keyframe there. Yeah, that's the keyframe. Yes. Select it, drag it to 5 seconds. Okay. Okay, now move the time indicator to 10 seconds. The time indicator pin to 10 seconds, yes. And move the ball to another position of your choice, maybe down or out of the screen or wherever. Okay, so now let's play this animation again. Let's go back to 0, press your space bar, and let's see how it plays out.
Where's this space bar?
Yeah, your space bar on your keyboard. Okay, to stop that. So, very simple, right?
Yes.
I'd like everybody to practice this. Get used to, like, get very friendly with this thing now, the keyframes, how to toggle that time, toggle it on and off as switching on the timer, right? To activate the keyframes, those keyframes dots. It's called key. Okay, to activate the keyframe dots, moving positions and all that. The same thing we did for this position, you can do it for scale as well. you could start from frame 0, reduce the size, right? You could switch on that timer, right? When you switch it on, remember that click on it. You can click on it. Now remember, you see that our time indicator is not on 0 seconds. So it will start anywhere you want it to start, however you want. But if you click your timer, if you switch it on any frame or any seconds that you don't want the keyframe, you can easily drag that keyframe, that dot, you can easily drag it to any point of your choice. So let's say now we created this keyframe on almost 15 seconds. We could select it. So on the line where you have the scale, on the line, no, down. Yes, that's where you have the scale. So that keyframe there, you can see the keyframe is highlighted already in blue. You could drag it back to 0. Okay, so let's say on 10 seconds now, you could bring your time indicator to 10. So remember, wherever your time indicator is, that is where your keyframes will be created. Wherever your time indicator is, that's where your keyframe will be created. So here now, let's say we want to scale the ball down to like 10%. So on 10 seconds, you could just go to the click on it, just click on it and type in 10, make it faster. Enter. So you see that the ball reduces in size. So now we've added animation to the size of the ball. The ball can increase in size and reduce in size, right?
Yes.
So if you want to play that, you can go back to 0, hit your space bar, and you see how it plays out.
Hi, hello, is it just me or
I think we'll stop here for today. Yes.
can everybody else hear Christian? Hello?
Hello, me, I can hear everybody.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello.
Okay. So I'm actually done with this class for today. Maybe we'll, I mean, you guys have seen
Christian, are you
everything.
trying to say something? I can't hear you. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes. I said, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
I
said
can
for,
hear you.
yeah, for tonight's class, we're actually done. So I would like everybody to practice what we've seen. I mean, Mr. Shegun has taken advantage. So, you know, at least he has gotten, some kind of understanding. I believe everybody watched, how he did whatever he did. So please try to practice this over the next few days. Make mistakes. You could select the keyframes and delete them. If you don't, just hit select, normal select, and then hit your delete on your keyboard, it will delete. Make mistakes. If you go beyond, if you don't play with the software, it will be difficult for you to flow during trainings, like subsequent classes. So always open the software, try 1 or 2 things based on what we've discussed today. Please, very important. Because in our next class, we're taking it another level, taking it to another level, right? Gradually like that. We're pushing it, right? So you guys were talking about whetting your appetite. For those who want to even go into motion graphics, you might just like the video you saw. So this is just a very short. You could do this in After Effects, right? Some other softwares might be added maybe for some character animation, but all these things were done in After Effects. Most of the motion, you see the text, movement of timer, scale out, scaling. You see, we practice scale out and scaling today. Just like this phone went back, just like the way we moved the ball, reduce the size. So knowing how to combine all these things, right? So that's motion graphics for you, right? So it's just like this bouncing ball. I wanted us to do this bouncing ball, but I figured out that, let's just take it one step at a time. So we're actually done with this class. Please try to practice. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Tayo, over to you.
Hello, can we all hear Christian? I'm not sure because I can't hear him very clearly.
I do hear you.
Clear enough on my side, yeah.
Hello?
No.
Oh, great.
We can hear you.
I can hear you from else.
Oh. Oh, okay.
No.
Oh. Oh, okay. Here it is. Engineer Shegun, I believe you're done with the demonstration. Am I correct?
Yes. Okay. So can close it.
Hit escape on your keyboard. Then you hit stop sharing.
Okay. Okay, stop sharing. Oh, well. All right. Yeah.
Okay, Christian, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I said I don't know if you have challenge from your end, but every other person can hear me clearly.
Oh.
So I said we're done with this class. We're done for today.
Maybe it's from my side.
I'm not sure he can hear me clearly.
We can hear you.
Sorry, maybe I'll just speak on his behalf. I think he's having a bit of challenge from his end. I hope we all learned something from the class today. Maybe tomorrow we'll start with some, not tomorrow, next week, please. Tuesday, we'll start with some questions and then we'll go into a bit of practicals again. So I think at this junction, let's just let's just say let's call it a day. So good night, everyone.
Yeah, good night. Thank you
Good night.
very much.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Thank